Hey everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and it's Friday. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, whatever you get up to, and I'm going to start it off right with some awesome World of Tanks gameplay. Today we're going to be watching Kulio from the Russian server playing in the Tier 8 Premium Swedish heavy tank. It is of course the Emil 1951. So what are your plans for Friday? My plans for Friday right now is I'm going to be checking out Death Stranding. There's so much hype over that game. I haven't really played too many Hideo Kojima games since I guess Metal Gear Solid 2, but this new one with Norman Reedus acting in it, and I think it's also got Guillermo del Toro playing a part as well. I'm not sure if he's a producer, if he's actually inside the game, but I'm going to find out right now on Twitch. Also, this is now a week since I have started releasing YouTube videos daily. I have to admit, it's actually going pretty easy. I'm not really feeling the grind so far. I really do enjoy making YouTube videos, especially when I have awesome games to commentate on, and this is going to be certainly one of them. One thing I must mention, however, is still that 50% of, more than 50% of people who have been watching the videos over the last week are still unsubscribed to the channel. So if that's you, just come on, you got to subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification. And if you didn't realize I've been releasing YouTube videos every single day for the last week, well, you probably missed out quite a few, and I'd recommend you check them out. Now you've got some more time to be able to do so over the weekend, right? Okay, so now back to the gameplay. Kulio here in a rather okay matchup for the Tier 8 Swedish TD. You've got against, it's a perfect matchmaking in my opinion, you know, I love the 2-tier spread or 3-tier spread, whatever you want to be calling it. We're having to deal with tanks that are higher tier than you, tanks that are lower tier than you as well. This for me would be peak World of Tanks. I know some people are going to say, oh well, what is the Tiger meant to do against a T10? Yeah, but I would love the matchmaking to be like this, as long as every time that the Tiger has to deal with a T10, it then has to go and deal with some Panzer IVs as well. For me, it just adds so much more variety to the game, and it makes the replays as well more entertaining to watch and to commentate on. So immediately, Kulio manages to shut down a King Tiger at the start of the battle. That is 821 damage to the side and to the lower plate of the King Tiger, locking him in place and shutting him down hard. That's now a Tier 7 American premium heavy tank in the game. If any of you haven't been up to date with World of Tanks, there's a Twitch Prime care package going on at the moment where you could manage to unlock one of those tanks for yourself. And I have no idea how that's going to happen towards the end of the year, because the King Tiger on Twitch is actually like a rental where you have to still have Twitch Prime to be able to unlock the tank. I'm not sure if Wargaming are going to be continuing to collaborate with Twitch Prime next year. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And if that happens, then surely if you have one maybe now or maybe next month, then perhaps you might get to keep it. So definitely keep an eye out for that, boys and girls. If you haven't been continuing to redeem the World of Tanks care packages, but you have Amazon Prime or you have Twitch Prime, then I'd thoroughly recommend to definitely keep that active for the next couple of months. And remember, you can always subscribe to a scrublord like me on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby, and it's the best way to support my content. I make more money, I'll be honest, from just people giving me Twitch Prime subs than I do from all of the adverts that you will see on the millions of views that my YouTube gets each month. Pretty crazy, right? Anyway, let's focus back on the gameplay. The Emil is a godlike hull-down tank. How does this vehicle differ from the standard counterpart that was added into the game at the end of 2016 and has to be still one of my favourite Tier 8 heavy tanks to play? Well, this vehicle has slightly lower damage per minute, but it does gain better aim time. It also has a slightly better intra-clip reload than the Emil does, and it has slightly better turret reverse dispersion as well. And so while it doesn't look like it has the best aim time in the world, this is significantly better than the standard Tier 8 counterpart. Now the T10 actually ignored Kulio there and focused the kill instead on the FV201A45 behind. So if you're wondering what that T10 was doing, it was actually securing a kill on a tank that it could manage to kill with a single shot. So even though it didn't look like the right play, that was actually the right play for the T10 to shut someone down as they were getting removed from the game. Alright, so a great round so far here. 3,600 damage and dealing with a tank higher tier there, shutting down one of the top tier heavy tanks on the enemy team. Now Kulio has to be careful because it sounds like he's under pressure from the artillery on the enemy team, and he's got to make his way through the middle of the map and then see if he can try and vanquish this 263. Now, all of you hopefully know that this is the reward from Frontline. And I guess the last episode of Frontline is coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks on Monday, I believe, or is it 1 week on Monday? Probably actually 1 week on Monday will be the final episode of Frontline. And so this might be your last chance to be able to get the tank as well. This is a bit of a public service announcement, as we do around here occasionally, that if you are close to completing episode 7, if you're on episode 6 or maybe episode 5, there might be an opportunity for you to complete episode 7 and to be able to get yourself one of these tanks. Is it worth the pickup? Well, it's a full-blooded tier 8 premium with very novel gameplay. I think that if you like what you see in this video and you're pretty close there, it might be worth investing the time in Frontline for the final episode, especially if you have some of those experience boosters. I found now, and keep in mind that I get general in more games that I don't, that I can actually manage to prestige once every about 5 to 6 hours. That's not bad, right? That's way better than it used to be. It used to be kind of like prestiging every 10 to 15 hours of gameplay without the boosters, which was pretty brutal, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that. If you've completed a few of the episodes so far, but you realize you're not going to be able to get the AE Phase 1 because that would require you to complete all 10 episodes, then definitely keep an eye out whether you can manage to get to episode 7 to be able to unlock the Emil 1951. And this vehicle, on a ridgeline, with 12 degrees of gun depression, an incredible frontal turret armor of 180, which is very well angled as we can see here. That makes this turret armor very effective, and if you are using your gun depression on this tank, then you're pretty much just laughing at your opponents. They need about 200, maybe 240 millimeters of penetration to be able to penetrate the turret when they're shooting at it flush on. And if you're going hull down, it's starting to get up to more like the 280 mark. And so you're going to have to get shot by tier 9 or tier 10 tanks with premium rounds before the turret armor on the auto-loading Swedish premium heavy tank is going to start to falter. Alright, so Kulio managed to finish off the 263 there with some great marksmanship to the lower tracks. But, or should I say the lower plate, the lower tracks, what am I talking about? Some kind of 4-track tank here, some kind of tank that has like tracks above tracks. What are you talking about? He gets spotted by a Yak Tiger behind, however, and that is very awkward. If that Yak Tiger had managed to hit Kulio there, he'd be down to a one-shot. Funny enough, he gets 3 spotting against the Yak Tiger. Looks like that was a narrow miss by the artillery, or not even a narrow one, a significant miss. I don't know about you all, but I've been playing a lot of ranked battles recently, as you would have seen on my Twitch channel. And gosh, the amount of pain that I have been receiving from artillery while I've been playing my heavy tanks has been substantial. Alright, now the super Pershing right in front of Kulio. I'm hoping Kulio actually decides to go for the weak point on top here. This is actually a bad play. He tries to aim to the left to, I guess, hit the side. There was actually very poor marksmanship at the front of the super Pershing, and there was a far better opportunity to be able to engage the super Pershing frontally, and I'll show you exactly how Kulio could have managed to do that. Firstly, he could have shot right into the top cupola of the super Pershing that you see me trying to highlight up here. Alternatively, there's actually a gap on the super Pershing's frontal spaced armor where you see the machine gun port just to the mid left of the plate. And if Kulio is able to hit that part of the super Pershing's armor, I'll just pause and show you right now where that is so you can get an idea. There's actually a gap in the spaced armor. You can shoot right through here with through the machine gun, and then you probably only need about 150 millimeters to go through there, and just on the top as well. Kulio would have been able to save himself the first round and would have had the super Pershing killed, probably in a single magazine there instead. Gosh, this Emil starts to hit really hard these days. Back when I was playing the standard Emil for the first time, it had 320 alpha damage, Wargaming really pumped up the alpha damage of all of the Swedish heavy tanks, and now with 360 alpha damage, they feel truly monstrous. Wow, very unfortunate bounce there off the turret armor of the weakly armored Italian autoloading medium tank, but luckily for Kulio, the Yak Tiger has flanked. Now, one thing these Swedish heavy tanks don't have until you get to tier 10 is a lot of damage per minute. This vehicle has 1,825 base damage per minute, and the penetration, it's not brilliant, 217. But when you're dealing with a tier 7 heavy tank in the form of the IS, 270mm of penetration should be more than enough. And there you go, right through the turret, securing Kulio's 5th kill. He instantly reloads, and I like that play. A lot of players make the mistake of trying to hold on to their magazine when they've only got a couple of rounds left in it, or when they've got 1 or 2 rounds. If you reload fast, then you can probably, more often than not, manage to reload a full magazine so you can be fully prepared for the next situation. The worst thing that can happen is if you do get locked down into a combat before you're fully reload and you only have 1 or 2 shots inside the tank, and then the enemies just to push you aggressively because they're relentless and then they force you to reload, and then you're going to get shut down. It's like that with my T57 Heavy. Sometimes it's quite tricky to know when to reload, and unless you've got an imminent threat that is about to take on your vehicle, usually my rule of thumb is if I can't fire in the next 5 to 10 seconds, I'm going to reload anyway in a T57 Heavy, and I think that would probably also extend to something like an Emil. If I was playing the AMX 50 Foch 155 on the other hand, with its 50-second reload and 3-round magazine, I might have to be a little bit more careful. Alright, so unfortunately, Kulio's team loses one of their most important vehicles. The Jagdtiger gets shut down by the Jagdtiger on the enemy team. And Kulio communicates to his team here, saying, hey guys, let's just relax, let's focus the T-44, and then everything's gonna be okay. Oh my god, Kulio, it's living up to his name, right? He's cool in combat. This is the kind of player that you want to have on your team. You want to have the tier 8 heavy tank doing 6,000 damage and picking up 5 kills and still having half of their hit points left towards the latter part of it to hopefully be able to really duke it out with the opponents. So I'm just wondering what kind of equipment Kulio is using on his tank here. He's probably using vertical stabilizers. Is he using coated optics? Well, his view range is quite poor if he was, so I think he might actually be going for vents and a gun laying drive and vert stabs. And considering the aim time on this tank is 3 seconds, that's actually a fairly competitive loadout to take on the tank, but I would always not want to drop coated optics or even binoculars on this vehicle because then you really have no view range. Alright, Kulio now against a higher tier tank destroyer with a good slug of hit points and a tier 8 premium Soviet medium tank. But luckily, he's actually managed to catch the T-44-100 completely ill-prepared, and now he's got the side of the Jagdtiger. He finishes off the T-44-100, puts 1 round into the Jagdtiger, 2 rounds into the Jagdtiger. Great magazine there, 416 damage done with the second shot, and even the artillery supports Kulio, hitting the Jagdtiger, taking off the Jagdtiger's tracks and locking him in place, which allows Kulio a little bit of a respite to be able to regain his magazine and then to hopefully take on the final remaining tank before he has to try and go toe-to-toe with 2 self-propelled guns. Oh, Kulio's loading standard ammunition here. He bounces the first one off the upper plate, pens the second one on the lower plate, and now it's the pressure shot. His armor holds true. He manages to ricochet the 128mm caliber gun that the Jagdtiger has and puts one through the lower plate, taking out the higher tiered tank destroyer. Now 7 kills and a reload. 7,500 damage, one of the highest damages I've ever seen in a tier 8 tank. Kulio is absolutely tearing it up this game. And now it is just him and 2 tier 7 tank destroyers against the M12 on his team as well in support. The sirens go off towards the end of the battle. 2 minutes left on the replay. Where are these artillery going to be? And with the weak side armor that the Emil has, that he'll be able to definitely not take a hit. Guaranteed. The S-51 in a dip manages to get shut down with a single shot from the 360 alpha damage. And unfortunately, the S-14 splash doesn't quite damage Kulio. So that means that Kulio doesn't exactly know where they are. But considering that Sergei on his team in the M12 just fired a shell near the bushes, then that would suggest to Kulio where the last Su-14 one is. 1 minute and 24 seconds left on the game. In fact, the artillery did manage to hit them, and Kulio finishes an epic carry with a tremendous splash at the end of the game. A huge ammo rack, bits of the tank showering all over the battlefield. What a game here for the Tier 8 Swedish premium heavy tank. Now, a tremendous carry like this gets rewarded with some of the better medals in the game. A Radley Walters medal for the 9 kills that Kulio picked up here, a high caliber for the near 8,000 damage, and a Pascucci's for vanquishing 2 enemies' self-propelled guns. Kulio also made the mother of all credits here, and that's because I didn't see him fire any premium ammunition. If we get the base amount of credits, 140, we add on for the premium account and for the 50,000 bonus, I guess, for one of the first games of the day, if you have a premium account as well. This was 314,000 credits. That's kind of like a really good profit for a 20 or 30 minute game of Frontline. If you've had an incredible result, that's one of the highest amounts of credits I've seen in a regular random game of World of Tanks of all time. So Kulio's marksmanship was almost impeccable here, hitting 29 out of the 30 fired, and 26 of those managed to penetrate. Definitely worked it very well, and it was only against the Super Pershing that it seemed that Kulio didn't quite know what the armor layout was of the Tier 8 American Premium Medium Tank. So Kulio, spasibo balshoi for uploading your replay on the whatreplays.ru website. I really hope you don't mind me sharing it with the EU community, but as often happens, I really feel like we've got something to learn from just the calculated gameplay that you Russians seem to bash out on a daily basis. So congratulations to you on what is probably one of the most epic Emil games I have seen of all time. 2,334 base experience points. I truly loved this game and hope all of you out there on YouTube did as well. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know in the comments, where have you managed to get with Frontline? Did you not bother with it at all? What episode have you managed to complete? Have you unlocked the Emil 1951? Are you leaving it till the last minute to be able to get the tank? Or have you already got the AE Phase 1 and the Emil 1951 in your garage and you're sitting there rather smugly, just probably going to chill for the last week of Frontline in episode 10. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.